Hello and welcome. Today we are going to look at um, doing unit conversions in Excel. So, in your class, you've probably been learning to convert units and to do so by hand. And you can do that using the metric staircase or dimensional analysis. Lots of different ways we do that. But in this lesson, we're going to look at how you can use a computer to speed that up and to make it go faster. So to do that, we're going to want to use Excel. And you can use the desktop version of Excel, like we see it here. But you could also, if you felt so inclined, go to office.dsbn.org. And you could, so office.dsbn.org. And you can log in with your DSBN account. And you can go to Excel here as well and make a new blank workbook. And either one of these will work. So if you have a computer that has Excel on it, the desktop version sometimes works a little faster and smoother. But if you don't, you can certainly go to the web version here, and you'll see that they will do the exact same job. So you can also use Google Sheets, and I'm not going to show that here as an example, but everything that we do here in Excel will work just as well in Google Sheets. So if that's a more comfortable platform for you, you're good to go. So at its most basic, we do conversions in Excel just using a formula. There we go. Now we can see a little better. And the way we do that is if we type the equal sign and then write convert, Excel knows that we want to convert a number from one measurement system to another. And one of the great things about Excel, if you remember, anytime we want, we can just write numbers here or words, and Excel will figure that out. But if we want Excel to do math, we know that we use the equal sign. And the equal sign tells Excel that we are trying to do mathematics. So anytime we want to use math, we press that equal sign. And then if we just type the word convert, now Excel knows that we want to convert. And if you open a bracket, because that's where we put what we call the arguments or the parameters, what we want to actually convert, Excel tells us what it wants. First, it wants the number, and then it wants the unit we're going from and the unit we're going to. So say you had a question like this. Say you wanted to say, how many miles have you traveled if you have gone 23.4 kilometers? So there's a question we could want to answer. Well, it's no problem. We would say equals convert, open a bracket, and the number is 23.4. That's how many kilometers we've gone. And then it's going to say from unit. And it actually gives us a helpful list here that you can scroll down. And if you want, you can just find it in here. And there's a big long list, or you can type it. The thing you have to know, it has to go in quotation marks. So in this case, we're going to go from kilometers. And I'm actually not immediately sure how we get miles. But it says right here, a mile is MI. And it gives us also all the other options we could have here if you go down. We could pick miles. It knows that kilometer is a length, and so it's limiting us to lengths here, which is good. So I'm going to go to miles, which is MI in Excel. And there we go. And it tells us that we've gone 14.54086. We could have another question. We could say, how many kilograms is an 8-ounce steak? So if, I went to the restaurant and I ordered an 8-ounce steak and I want to know how many kilograms that is, no problem. I could say equals convert. And I know that I've got 8. And then if you look here, it can be a little hard to see. Let me, 1 second. I know that OZ is ounces, but even if I didn't know that, I could go down here and you can see ounces in mass is OZM. So 8 OZM. And then to the unit, what do I want? And I want kilograms, so I can say kg for kilograms. And there we go. That 8-ounce steak is 0.2267 kilograms. So that is a really useful skill and tool. And hopefully you can get to know that. You can stop watching now, and that's okay. But the other thing we want to take a quick look at is we can actually make a little conversion app. It's a little programming challenge, something you can do. It's up to you if you want to try, but sometimes it would be nice not to have to type that formula in every time. And if you wanted to, you could make a little unit conversion app that will always be there when you want it. So let's try doing that together, shall we? Here in Excel, I'm going to name this one down here. You can always click the tabs down here at the bottom, and if you double click it, you can name it. I'm just going to call that practice converting. And then the little plus sign here lets us make a new sheet. And I'm going to call this one conversion app, though you could call it whatever you want. But this is just a good example of how you can make something in Excel, and then once you've made it, you can use it over and over again. So I could make this and save it, and then anytime I want to do a unit conversion, just go here. Let's try it together. So here we are, and I'm going to make a nice title, unit converter. And I'm going to zoom us in here so we can see it. So unit converter, and I might, I don't know. I'll make that nice big font and we'll bold it. Okay, there we go. So we'll say old number, old unit, new unit. Well, we'll put the number first. That makes more sense, doesn't it? All right, and so I could say what I want to do is I'm going to make it so it will calculate this if I fill the rest of these things out. So it's going to calculate that, and I'm just highlighting here. If you look up here, the little highlighting button, just so we kind of know, these blue ones are the ones that I'm going to type in, and it's going to do the math right here for me. So I'm going to say, okay, if I wanted to know that 145 centimeters, how many meters is that? And I want Excel to always be able to calculate this if I change these other ones. Well, it's actually not so hard. The way we tell Excel we want to do math is we press equals. And then we can say, well, we know we want to do a conversion, so equals convert, open a bracket. And now instead of typing 145 in here, then I'd have to change my formula every time. Where it says number, I can just say, always use this cell. And I could do that by typing A4, and then it will always know to look in A4. But I can also do it just by clicking on that. And it knows now it's always going to convert this number. Then, what's the old unit? Well, the old unit, I could type centimeters, but then again, anytime I change this, I'd have to change my formula. So instead, I could type B4, and cell B4 is centimeters here, B4. Or I could even just type there, or click there rather. And then, what do I want the new unit to be? Well, I want the new unit to be whatever we write in D4. And here I can't actually click it because it's in the way. So I'm actually going to type that in and say, always look in D4. And now what this formula says is we're always going to take the number that's in A4, which is in the units that's in B4, and convert it to the unit that's in D4. And I press enter, and there we go. It knows 145 centimeters is 1.45 meters. And then watch. We could say, well, what if I had meant 145 feet? Well, that's 44 units. What if I know that I am 5'9"? Well, I could say I'm 5 feet plus 9 out of 12 inches. So I am 5.75 feet. How many meters tall am I? I'm 175 meters tall. Maybe I'm like, how tall would I have to be 2 meters tall? Well, I could make this 2 meters is equal to 6.5 feet, 6.5 feet. I'm not going to hit 6.5 feet. That's not going to happen. 6'8", yeah, that's a lot. So there we go. Now we've built a little app, and it can be used for anything. I could say, oh, I don't know, 35 kilograms is equal to how many pounds? 77 pounds. Or I could say I weigh 198 pounds. How many kilograms do I weigh? There we go. So we just built a little unit converter that I could save. And once I've saved it, I could always come back to it and use it to convert anytime I need to convert units. So hopefully you found that somewhat helpful. And